In this video today, I'm going to show you how I delegate without micromanaging. Hi, I'm Mark, CEO and co-founder of Primal. We were ranked 4 times in the Financial Times High Growth Companies of the Year. And today I'm going to walk you through my 6 concepts that I use when I think about delegating work to other people so that we can move faster. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Now, taking that, we actually want to go fast, so we actually want to go far. So these 6 concepts that I'm going to share with you today is to help you move faster because you can't do it alone. So the first rule I want to cover today is the 70-30 rule, where basically, if somebody can do the job 70% and I do the remaining 30%, then it's worth delegating. Why? Because my time is valuable. And if somebody could be doing the job so that I can go focus on other high leverage activities, then it's worth delegating to someone else. The second concept is hourly rate. So if my salary is $100,000 per year and I divide that by 2,000, which is a 40-hour work week with 2 weeks of holiday per year, which will give me my hourly rate of $50 per hour. Basically, I want to give somebody the task who has lower hourly rate than me. So if the cost of doing the task is less than $50 per hour, that is worth giving to someone else who has a lower hourly rate. So very simple to work that out. Take your annual salary and then divide that by 2,000. And you can do that to the other person you're delegating to, or if you work with freelancers and they charge an hourly rate, you can start to understand the types of things you should be delegating out to other people who have a much more cost-effective hourly rate. Then you can go apply your hours to more impactful activities. Now, the third concept, this is what I go through in my head when I delegate something to someone to ensure that I cover my bases so that I can ensure that the output is correct and it meets my expectations. Who you give the task to is extremely important, because if you give it to the wrong person and they don't have the capability to do the task, it just means that the task is not going to be done. Who is going to be the best person to complete this task, who has the capability to do it, and you want to be allocating that to someone who is very capable. The next part is what, where I'm going to ask myself, did I clearly explain the thing that I needed? So a lot of people will give a task, but they won't explain in detail. They might just expect the person to automatically understand and know the output of the task that you're allocating to them. So it's a really important question. Am I giving this to the right person? And then am I telling them what I need in detail so that they can give me the work as I expect? So did I tell them what to do? The next part is when. Did I tell them when I expect it by? Or did I ask them when could they do it by? Because time is important when it comes to getting things done. You need deadlines, you need timelines, and you need to align on expectations on when it's done. The next part is how. Does the person, and this is key about who, do they understand and know how to do what I'm asking them to do? And if the answer is no, I then ask myself, well, if they don't know how to do it, did I train them how to do it? And if the answer is no, I know that I need to train that person so that they can do the task. The next part is why. Do they understand why I'm assigning this particular thing to them? Do they understand why it's important and how it aligns to the why of the company overall? So a lot of people need to understand that because they need to prioritize. If they're dealing with a ton of work, the why is really important, because if you can prioritize it for them in terms of how impactful it is for the company, they can then start to say, okay, well, this work here is not important. This is way more important. I'm going to prioritize that. The next part is this person correctly incentivized to do the task? The most basic example I can think of is salespeople. If you pay salespeople commission, they are incentivized to bring results for the business in terms of sales, and that is correct alignment of incentives to the desired outcome. The next part is to understand, is there anything stopping this person from getting a task done? Now, the other month I was dealing with a person, and what I didn't understand at the time was that it was somebody else stopping this person from getting something done. So part of my job is to understand what's blocking them and remove that blocker. So again, who is really important when you're delegating a task. And then I want to be asking myself, did I explain what it is that I needed? Did I explain when I needed it by? Do they know how to do it? And if not, did I train them? Do they know why it's important? Did I correctly incentivize them? Is there anything blocking them from doing what needs to be done? And if the answer is yes, I've covered all of these bases to ensure that what I delegate gets done. Hey, I just wanted to take a moment to pause the video and let you know that I'm relatively early in my YouTube journey, and I would really appreciate it that if you like the content, please give it a like and subscribe. All right, that's it. Back to the video. Now on to the other concept, D. So this is the 99-50 rule. And basically, when you delegate something, you just don't want to let it go, which I'll cover in part E. But basically, 99 is ensuring that when I delegate something, I've done all of these things. A lot of my effort is done at the very beginning of assigning a task, which is the 99. I do a lot at the beginning to cover these things and ensure that when I delegate, the person completely understands what they need to do, how to do it, etc. Then I want to check in with that person halfway. So let's just say that we set a deadline in 2 weeks. I spent a lot of time up here, which is the 99. And then at the halfway mark, 50, I want to be checking in and saying, okay, hey, that thing that we talked about, how's that going? We're halfway through the timeline. Do you need support? Do you need help? Is there anything else that I can do? Are we on track for the deadline in another week? And then the one is basically one day before is to check in again and saying, hey, tomorrow is the deadline for this. We talked about it. How's everything doing? Is there anything I can do to help check anything before we finalize this tomorrow? So far too often we assign something and then we might wait even maybe a few days after the deadline was given, or there's no deadline at all. And then we ask ourselves, was this thing done? And the answer is no, or it was yes, but it's poor quality. And just by checking in at some key milestones, we can actually help this process of delivering the things that we need when we assign something. Okay, part E, delegate, but do not abdicate. So early in my career, I used to allocate things to someone and I would say, I completely trust you. I hired you to do X and I believe that you can do it. Okay, here you go. Here's the task. And what I did was that I would just let go completely. And then in a few months' time, I would check back in and say, okay, how are you going with this particular thing? And because I had just completely let go, I didn't do any of this. I didn't check in. They had just completely failed to deliver to the things that I was expecting. And it wasn't their fault. It was mine because I completely abdicated the job to them and I didn't do anything to support them. So this is really important where you need to be checking in with people, and it's not micromanagement. It's checking in that they are okay to complete the task. Now for part F, we have trust, but verify. So this is really key to trust your people, trust that someone's going to do the job, but always verify. If you say, hey, how's everything going? And they say, great. And then you go and do a little check and an audit to verify what they said. Now, some people might say that if you're verifying, then it means you're not trusting the person. They are completely different things, where trust is, I trust you to do the job, but it's also part of my responsibility to verify that things are done. It's just a natural part of how business should be done. There should be somebody who does a particular task, and there should be something where somebody checks. That is just a really good habit for companies to have, to always verify. We don't trust people blindly. We trust, but we always check. And we check not because we want to find mistakes, but because we want to find opportunities for improvement. So key difference. Ultimately, these are the things that I do when I delegate work, and that's what works for me. I won't say it works for everyone, but this is what I do. And it has enabled me to be able to delegate things to people and have things run without me. So I hope you found value here today. Thank you.